This is the 2027 Mercedes-Benz S-Class. This vehicle will be available at the end of 2026. And for Mercedes, this is the top end of their luxury brand. Before we get into some of the nitty-gritty of the vehicle, let's talk about autonomous driving. Now, the current S-Class has a level 3 system. When this ships, it'll ship with level 2++, because Mercedes is working on a better version of level 3. And once that is available via Drive Pilot, you'll start seeing some of the things like the blue markers that you see on some of the test vehicles that Mercedes is working on now. There will also be a level 4 version of this vehicle, but that is not for you and me to buy. That will essentially be a robo-taxi version of this vehicle, which actually makes a lot of sense when you are an executive and you essentially, someone's gonna pick you up at the airport in a really nice S-Class. You could have a robot driving you to your next meeting. In order to do all this, either it's level 2, level 2++, level 3, whatever, the vehicle will ship with 10 cameras, 5 radars, overall 27 sensors will be on this vehicle so that it can see the road. And then the sensor fusion will all be taken care of by a liquid-cooled NVIDIA processor. So there's a lot of processing power inside of this vehicle in order to, well, either you're driving with hands off with the level 2++, or you're driving with hands off, eyes off in the future with level 3, or when they're talking about a robo-taxi, you need all that processing firepower in order for the vehicle to understand the road and drive on it. And Mercedes-Benz has added that to this vehicle. One of the more interesting aspects of this vehicle is that the air suspension, the adaptive suspension. Typically, when you think, well, I want the adaptive suspension to preload to get ready for, let's say, a bump or a pothole, you'll have a camera up front, it'll see the bump or the pothole, and the vehicle will get ready for that. Of course, if there's snowing or raining or leaves on the ground, you're not gonna see that. Mercedes, with the MB.OS, what they're doing is they're using the cloud. So what happens is that an S-Class drives into a pothole. It goes up to the cloud and tells every other S-Class that supports this system that there is a pothole at this exact GPS location. That way, when those vehicles drive down that road, the vehicle will get ready to tackle that pothole. So the first person, well, they're the sort of test case. Everyone else is gonna have a nicer ride. And of course, it's a dynamic updating system so that when that pothole is finally filled and an S-Class drives over it and recognizes that it no longer is being jarred, it's going to send that information to the cloud and it'll be distributed to all the S-Classes that support the system. That system, currently, it's gonna launch on this vehicle first, but Mercedes-Benz says that they are going to distribute it to all of their vehicles in the future. The upcoming S-Class ships with 3 engine options. The plug-in hybrid 580e ships with a 3-liter inline-6 that, along with the electric motor, produces 576 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. The 500 also comes with a 3-liter inline-6, but that has 442 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. Meanwhile, the top-end 580 comes with a 4-liter V8 that has 530 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. All S-Class vehicles bound for the US come with the automaker's 4MATIC all-wheel drive system and up to 4.5 degrees of rear wheel steering. And while the exterior of the S-Class is nice for those, well, looking at it, it's really in here where Mercedes sells luxury. And in the front seat, you're still getting these very comfortable seats. The new steering wheel that actually has tactical buttons, it has a roller, it has a little toggle switch, and they are adding the super screen. I think you might remember the hyper screen. These are now called the super screen. You have your touch screen here. You also have a passenger screen. Now I asked CEO about this passenger screen because I don't know if the US market really is that keen on it, but this vehicle does. The idea is to sell, it is a worldwide vehicle, and in China, the passenger screen is essential to sell this vehicle. So it makes a lot of sense. And what you can do with the screen is you can personalize it with you get in the car, you have all your personalizations, and maybe you just put a picture of your dog or your child or your partner. Also inside the vehicle, you have, as you heard, the Mercedes digital assistant. It's using the MBUX, which is one of my favorite infotainment systems, and they have included, in addition to their very robust personal assistant, they have added Google and Microsoft and AI in order to, if you ask it a question, it'll ask all these LLMs, it'll determine the best answer and serve that up to you. So you're not getting answers from all the different LLMs when you ask it about, you know, how tall is the Eiffel Tower or how long it takes to drive to the Klondike. It'll find out from all these different LLMs and to determine what is the best answer and serve that up to you in this vehicle. And of course, the true promise of the S-Class is that rear seat luxury, that luxury for the person who is being transported to their next important meeting. And in this vehicle, you're clearly going to get that. Of course, you have the rear screen, but you also have these individual controllers. They essentially look like small phones. And what you're really looking for is this. This is the experience that you want in the back of an S-Class. This is the long wheelbase version. There'll also be a shorter wheelbase version that doesn't quite do this. And of course the longer wheelbase version, which is the Maybach S-Class. But for now, we're having some, you know, you can control what I'm doing with your, you can control the blinds, you can control all this stuff with this, or you just have this little button right here if you want to go old school. And of course this sits right here. So all the technology is great. The level 4, level 3, level 2++, the sensors, the drivability, the new V8, the new inline 6, the everything else that is, you know, makes this vehicle drive well. At the end of the day, this is why people buy an S-Class. This experience right here. And one of the more interesting and kind of nice touches is the hood ornament illuminated star. It's not super bright, it's pretty chill, but it's also very Mercedes. The new S-Class will be available in the United States in late 2026. You'll be able to get a V8, you'll be able to get an inline 6. And for those who are looking for premium luxury from Mercedes, this is the vehicle to get, unless, of course, you go for the Maybach. For more automotive coverage, be sure to subscribe to SAE International.